Who would have thought that you're right out of college, you're into improv comedy, and now you're working at Google? Connect the dots for me.
Yeah, so so when I was performing improv and sketch comedy, we needed a cheap form of advertising. And at the time, it was like 1995, and I was still in college, and I said, hey guys, I know this really cheap form of advertising. It's called the World Wide Web.
What is that?
Yeah, exactly. Everybody's like, what? What is this thing? It's like, it's on a computer, and I can create a web page for us. And so I got involved doing web design for my comedy improv troupe. And from there, I did the performance and stuff, but I didn't want to wait tables. So I started doing web design for like freelance.
In order to pay for your improv comedy habits.
Exactly,
Because
that's
even
right.
though you were a professional improv comedian.
I was a starving artist, you know, it was so noble. I continued to pursue that area of my skills, but I always thought that I was going to, head to Hollywood and be famous on stage and screen.
But you have a technical background. You wanted to actually be an astronaut at one point.
That's right, yeah. So I started out, when I went to college, my entire intent was to become like a mission specialist on a space shuttle, eventually go to Mars. So I was studying...
Big dreams.
Yeah, I was studying computer science and astronomy and planetary science and all those things. Those are things that still interest me a lot. It's actually it's been a really interesting sort of mixture of hobbies and interests over the years.
And now you're at Google.
That's right.
So you switched.
Yes.
You got into web design. You decided to follow that path. Now you're one of the lead designers. How is it that maybe that improv background helps you do your job better here at Google?
It's probably one of the best things I could have done as a designer. There is design education, but the great thing about improv comedy, and theater in particular, acting, is that in order to be a great actor, you really have to understand the character. You have to put yourself in their shoes in order to really take on that role. Well, the same is true for our users. We are not our users. And in order to approach design effectively, we have to understand where they're coming from. We have to put ourselves in their shoes. And so the empathy that comes from the acting training and the understanding of the role and the character, I apply that every day to try to understand our users and how they live their lives and how they see things that they need to do and how Google can help them in that.
That was really deep.
Thank you very much. I practiced it in front of the mirror 5 times. Memorizing my lines.
Had a microphone right in front. Oh yeah, we have one attached.
That's right there.
But in a more practical fashion, you actually have used your improv comedy background actually to help create some really fun videos. Yes. So I was actually involved in the design of Google Predictions, Google Autocomplete. So the feature that you type in and it gives you auto-completions. Right. And I was actually involved in the design of that feature. And the team for April Fools, they said, why don't we have like an April Fool's gag where we hire people who actually type in all of the predictions live. I said, that's brilliant. And then I said, why don't we do a video? And they're like, okay, how are we going to do a video? I said, I'll do it. I've been an autocompleter for Google Search for a couple of years now, but I've actually been at Google since 2006. So I started out originally as a spell checker. So whenever you misspelled a word when using Google Search and it said, did you mean? And then it gave you the right spelling, that was me typing it out. I'm a really good speller. And so I wrote the script and shot the video and edited it in a day, like 3 days out from April Fool's Day. And then and it seemed to be fairly popular. So on a good day, I average about 34,000 words per minute. And I go through a new keyboard about every 8 days. What was your favorite part of it? I think the favorite part of it was my mom calling me up and telling me, she's like, I see you on the Google. My friends and family have always said, Michael, how is it? And then I finish their question. Michael, how is it? You always know what we're going to say. I just say it. And they smile and they're like, oh, Michael. Still want to go up to Mars? I do, actually, yeah. So I'm actually a founding member of the Mars Society. Really? Yeah, which is an organization that advocates for human exploration of Mars and comparative planetology and that sort of stuff. And I'm really excited about space exploration and the potentials of exploring space and Mars and
all that stuff. It's very exciting to me.
So from Google to Mars.
Google to Mars, yeah, exactly. I'm sure we can have like a self-driving, piloting rocket ship that'll take me to Mars at some point.
Well, you already have the self-driving cars, so the next thing Google's going to create and you're going to help create is that.
That's right. I'll design myself a rocket ship. Kind of hard to build.